Welcome back to another video. My name is Nikos. Today we are talking about gear and buying gear and trying to figure out what you need to buy and not doing your research and then going and trusting people who may or may not know what gear you need. Now, my experience with Vistec, buying the R6, buying a couple lenses now, going from one lens to multiple lenses, and this whole experience of the purchases has been a nightmare. They're going to make it up to me, they said. They're like, we'll make it good. We'll make it good for you. We'll see what happens. However, that being said, that's another story. While I was at Vistec, I did meet somebody there and we did get chatting. And the idea is very simple of what I want to put into perspective. This person went to a salesperson there. They were introduced to the kind of gear they should be buying, or the gear that people usually buy. And then what occurs, they buy the gear and then they meet somebody like me who goes, hey, what'd you buy? And we start to chat, and then we realize that they shouldn't have bought what they bought. Now, the idea of what they bought is good. It's good gear, but it doesn't apply to their workflow. And this is a big problem that I'm seeing in the industry as a whole when it comes to sales people at these stores selling gear and them recommending things to somebody without fully knowing the workflow. Secondly, you have the online influencers and other YouTubers and other different mediums where they tell the story of what they should be buying. And again, the workflow isn't there for the specific individual. And then, of course, you have other friends, family, and other people who will give their narrative of what you should be getting or the person should be getting. And then again, the workflow isn't being addressed. Why do I say this? Because there are so many different aspects into picking your gear that oftentimes we start to look at certain people that we start to trust, whether it is the salesperson, the influencer, or friend, family member, whoever. And the trust factor plays a bigger role than doing the research and seeing what's good for us. Now, why am I saying this specifically? Because I know that Black Friday is around the corner, and I know that a lot of people are going to fall into this trap and buy stuff they don't need. Kind of like going to Best Buy and asking the Best Buy guy, which camera is best for you when you want to do X, Y, Z? Doesn't work that well because the Best Buy guy just knows the technology, doesn't understand business, doesn't understand the workflows, doesn't understand all these other aspects that goes into the game of making things. I was talking to one individual and they're trying to explain to me how the R6 is better in XYZ ways. And I'm sitting there going, you're a little bit off. And then we have a big, long conversation about what they're off with. Now, this is a sales associate. And this is somebody who should know. Now, no doubt, you sit there and you go, okay, great. Let's look at the other side of the equation, the influencers. When we're talking about influencers, I have seen so many videos of people talking about different gear, different lenses, different mics, you name it. But the workflow isn't always in that process of explanation. So you as a viewer and somebody trying to figure out what to buy will be watching somebody you really like, somebody you might admire, somebody that you really respect in the industry. They'll tell you one thing and then all of a sudden it's not what you need when you buy it. I went through that. Some influencers that came out and they're like, buy a Canon. And then all of a sudden they're like, oh, Sony's so much better. And I'm like, yo, man, I already spent the money. Like, what are you talking about? Now you're switching? And you sit there and you go, well, how does that fit? What's good for me? One of my favorite creators was like, I always use an 85 millimeter prime lens to take pictures. And then a new lens comes out, the 24-70. He's like, 24-70 is the one I always use. And I'm so happy they made this new lens. And I'm like, okay, so which one is it, buddy? Which one is it? It's kind of like when you watch all these crypto guys that always have like crypto stuff in and out of what's going to make it and what's not going to make it. And then when something goes up, they go, oh, we told you to buy this. It's like, no, you didn't. I've been watching all your videos. You never said buy this crypto and you made money off of it. Same kind of mindset. So I take a step back and I was talking to this individual and we went through what he was doing on a day-to-day. It took a while, and I asked him, hey, just give me a shout and we'll go through in more detail what you should be doing. We talked and he's like, okay, so I don't really need all this stuff. I need X, Y, Z. And now he's got a new shopping list he didn't open anything. I told him not to open anything until he goes and figures out what he needs 100%. I'll guide him in the right direction based on his workflow. So at that, I'm trying to take a step back and just address this for you guys so you can look at buying equipment. What do you need? What do you want? And going back on the last few videos, what is it that we really need to put in perspective when it comes to the budget? So I want to put workflow at the front of this and really put this into perspective for everybody. When you're starting a business, and this is really going up for the people starting a business or the people just getting into the online video, the ads, the pictures, and all this and that. Workflow, what are you doing for your in and outs with your business? So if you're just going to start with basic video, you don't need a 4K camera. Let's just put this out there. You don't need that. What you need is something to fit that medium you're going to be sending the message out to. So mic, no matter what, go for the mic first. You need a mic. You need a good mic. You need a mic that makes you sound pretty. And by pretty, I mean very good to the ear so somebody can listen to you and enjoy listening to you. That's the first thing. So go research all the mics. Look at what's good for you with mics based on your environment. You may do a clip-on, you may do a shotgun mic, depending on what you're doing. But remember that you're watching all these creators, they all have their workflow of what they're doing. So you need to do something similar where you know what you're going to be doing the most of. Then you're going to be looking at lighting and you're going to say to yourself, how good of a light do I need? Now, I don't have the best lights in here, but I got good lights. The better the light, the better it is. It doesn't matter if you have 1080p or 4K. The light makes the video better. That's it. Now, if you're looking at it and you're saying, hey, can I get away with just a 1080p with camera-wise, or should I upgrade to 4K? There's a time and a place. But in most cases, you're uploading stuff to social media, and do you really need 4K until you need it? Until you know, hey, I'm going to buy this one camera or that camera. Do you need specific lenses for that? Yes. So what I always recommend to people is start with a cell phone. Get your smartphone out, start recording on that smartphone. Get a mic, get yourself sounding good, get the lighting good with that, and then you're going to see, hey, what is the area that I need to cover for my videos? I was talking to this individual, and the individual is like, well, I got this lens, and the lens was even wrong. Like, it wasn't wide enough for what he wanted to do. This is where we come into a situation. Did you test out what size lens you should be using? Well, no, I didn't. He just told me this is what I should be getting for the area I described. And this is where the dilemma comes up. They don't know the workflow. Now, at the same time, you're putting stuff online. You got to learn how to edit that. What computer are you going to use? If you just go for 4K, well, guess what? That's a lot of data. There's a lot of work on the computer. And a lot of people I talk to, their workflow can't sustain that. They need a better laptop. And it's not like every creator out there that's got an M1 chip with their Apple product. Not everybody can afford that. Where's your workflow with that aspect? We need to look all of these in stages and say, okay, what do we need for us to start doing everything online? If you're just going to focus on 1080p, it's less taxing on the system, and it doesn't matter what laptop you have, it will get it done. And this is where I think it's a good time to start to invest into learning about this stuff, taking a course on learning how to set this up, the whole idea of the tech and gear that you need. I think I'm going to make a course on this and just put in the basics so everybody knows the difference. So people, even like just knowing what you need to move through before you start investing a lot of money. Again, I bought the R6. I'm thinking of buying another one if I find the price the same and just replacing the gear I have fully. I bought more lenses and I'm like, why am I not just upgrading it to the RF line and just be done with it? At the same time, I'm talking to my buddy and my buddy's like, you should just sell everything, get Sony. We need you to get Sony. And I'm just kind of like, maybe I should do that. Now, when I'm looking at it, I'm looking at the prices online on the used market. I can literally sell everything and not experience a big loss, not like it used to be. I'm seeing everything at prices where I'm like happy to sell and I won't feel it. It's kind of like I rented the equipment for like, a year or something. And then here you go. And somebody else will buy it. And this is where we're at right now. So I want everybody to take a step back and analyze things a little bit differently here. So you're not running out and just buying anything. The deals aren't that great, A. B, when you do see a great deal, ask yourself, what's my workflow? And what do I actually need? Because at the end of the day, what's the benefit? Now, I wanted a second 4K camera in the lineup of the RF lens and the R series because I want everything to be the same and I want to be able to set it up in the studio so I'm cutting down my time in moving the cameras around and doing all this stuff. It's just like one's cropped, one's not, and then the 1080p here, 4K there, and it's just like it's taking away from my workflow. That's it. Time. That money I'm investing is money I'm investing, not spending, and it feels great. So the idea here is efficiency, time, energy, and money that you're investing in stuff so that you can then build your workflow so that is coming out to its efficiency level that you need it at. You're investing all of this into that idea of how you're going to get better at what you're trying to achieve so you can maximize your potential and then hit your goals. So take a step back before you go and make a move. Do not trust one person. Start to look for people that have similar workflow for what you're trying to do. If they have a similar workflow, then attach onto them and learn what they're doing, and then find the next person until you figure out exactly what you need and what will be good for you as it relates to what is available on the market. Now, I think I'm going to make a course on all of this, and I think I want your input on this. What is or what are some topics you want to really cover that you've seen other courses that they don't have? They haven't covered it, and what would help, especially if you're in the business mindset. Maybe you're a starter, maybe you've been going for a while and you just haven't been able to zone in on the craft that well, and maybe you're a professional that is high end and you keep seeing the same mistakes over and over, and maybe it's something like that I should add to the course. I would love your feedback on that. Leave your comment below, leave your questions below, and I will respond. And of course, don't forget to check out these 2 videos.